Almost everything you see on my channel is either a finished or soon-to-be finished project. But I also have a lot of failed, unfinished, or abandoned projects that I've never really talked about. And the largest one was Humanoid. This goes back all the way to 2012. I was heavily inspired by the game Cave Story, and how a sole developer wrote the entire game in his own custom engine, including all the music, sprite work, story, and even the tools and editors. And having always wanted to write an engine like that, I decided to try and build one myself, mostly as a learning experience. After a lot of work, I did have a working sandbox and tile editor that I was happy with, but I decided against making any kind of full game with it because I was busy with other things and it would have just taken me way too long. But fast forward to 2015. I was trying to come up with an idea for how I would propose to my wife, and I had the idea to make her a video game using my engine. I mean, the engine was already written, and all I had to do was build a short game on top of it. Well, I did, and it took me about 4 months to finish NonStop. I actually have a full playthrough of it on my channel, though it's kind of an older video, so not that many people have seen it. And it really was a full game, or at least a full demo. And after working on it for so long and so many hours, I was exhausted. And that's kind of where I thought it would end. So fast forward again to 2016. At this point, I was feeling the itch to do some game dev again. And after playing Undertale, it finally pushed me over to continue developing some kind of game. And that's when I came up with Humanoid. Set in the near future, it's a world populated by humans and robots, though robots are still not considered human enough to have sentience. You play as the first sentient robot that's hoping to be considered an equal in society, but of course there's a lot of challenges you have to overcome, and other robots to battle as you make your way to a big competition. I added a lot of improvements to the engine, like dynamic lighting, a real-time synth, and texture compression. But what was really starting to slow me down was the sprite art. You see, in the proposal game, because it was really only designed to be played once and not released to the public, I kind of just stole whatever sprite art and music I needed and just reworked it to fit the game. Now that I was making a real game, I had to start making all the assets myself. But I'm not a sprite artist, and it just takes me a really long time to make something that I'm happy with. And so I started to slow down more and more and just feel less and less motivated to work on it. And then tragedy struck. In 2018, my car was broken into and my backpack was stolen that had the laptop with the game. And it just happened to be that the most recent backup was also in the backpack on a thumb drive. I had some older remote backups too, but I was probably missing about 50 to 100 hours of work, and that just made me really depressed. I was already sort of losing interest, and this kind of just felt like the nail in the coffin. To my absolute surprise though, a month later, I got a call from the police department. Apparently, they had found the backpack that just so happened to have a receipt inside with my phone number. Obviously, the laptop was gone, but when I opened the other compartment, there it was, my flash drive with the recent backup. And that's really the only way I'm able to show you any of this footage today. So if I got everything back, why did I still decide to abandon the game? Well, in the indie game world, it's really hard to stand out when there's thousands of new titles coming out every day. The easiest way to stand out is to do something radically different, which is what happened with Marble Marcher and Hyperbolica. I just felt, compared to my other projects like those, there just wasn't enough unique things in Humanoid to justify the enormous time sink I'd have to put into it. My time just feels better spent on these other, more interesting projects. And unlike the proposal game, which would only need to run on my one computer, supporting any kind of cross-platform is way more difficult when I have to port an entire custom engine to different platforms and handle every possible configuration. But it wasn't a complete loss, because I managed to salvage a lot of pieces from it. For instance, did you know that the avatar I used to use on my channel is based on the main character? And I also managed to transfer parts of the story and dialogue to Hyperbolica, and other parts will be in a future game. Plus, I learned a lot of lessons along the way about game design, planning, and of course, the importance of continuous backups. Anyway, that's the story of the game. It's a dead enough project now that I don't have to worry about spoiling anything, and that's why I decided to finally make the video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this untold bit of Code Parade history.